Church, Nicki Minaj delivered every piece of messiness we needed for part 4 of this reunion. But was it me, or was she a little bit hard on Candiace regarding her album sales? I got my notes. I hope y'all got yours. Let's get on into this damn mess. So let's jump right on into Nicki Minaj as host. I thought that she was very entertaining. I thought that she breathed life into the reunion because, baby, trying to stretch out everything that happened this season into 4 parts was a stretch in and of itself. When, listen, the damn reunion could have probably been 2 parts and we would have all been happy and it would have been much more action-packed than, dredging it out 4 damn parts. But that's neither here nor there. It's hard to jump into a situation such as the Housewives where Andy Cohen is king, going back and forth from all of these different franchises and making it look easy. But it's a very hard job to host when you have to be, witty, you have to be shady, you have to be funny, you have to be fair and keep all of that together and stay on time and topic. So I thought she did a very, very good job with being timely with what she was saying, being fair to people, being shady where she needed to be, and moving the show forward. So I thought she did a really, really good job. She got into a rapid fire session with the girls, and I'm just going to go over some of them because there were so many things that were basically discussed this episode. But I want to say that I thought Nicki's time on the show was more evolutionary than revolutionary. And I say that to mean this. There was no new ground broken here. Like, I don't think that we got any sort of real new information. I just think that it was a lot of really, really good and timely fan questions that needed to be asked and answered. So I thought she did a great job with that. Now, Nicki comes for Ashley right out the gate, talking about Ashley's lack of storyline. This was neither really here nor there because Ashley's storyline this damn season was her cheering. It's almost like she's damned if she does and damned if she doesn't. Like, what did you want her to do? Okay, push the baby out and then start fussing. Like if she didn't fuss, then she has no storyline. If she did fuss, then she should have been at home taking care of her children. So she was damned if she does and damned if she doesn't. Now, I do believe that, Nicki and the fans had a point where they said, you literally took you and your breast milk down to the damn trip just to be messy towards Wendy and do Giselle's bidding. I think it was very obvious that Ashley needed to keep the plot line in terms of her storyline going. And in order to do that, she had to jump in where she fit in, do a little zinger, and then move off. Now, granted, I don't think that she anticipated it blowing up as much as it did, but it furthered her storyline and gave her something to grab onto for this season. So it was a very apropos question. And I thought Ashley and the girls handled it well in terms of it. But the weird part that I found, y'all, and let me know, drop down in the comments and let me know if you found out this too. But did you not think that it was weird that every time Nicki would come for somebody, that Candiace would chime in? I'm like, girl, like, I'm gonna need you to pick a side. Like, either you are the devil of this show or you're the angel, okay? But you straddling the fence in between is just like, it seems insincere, but could just be me. Y'all let me know what you think. Now then, Nicki gets into Juan's sexual energy with Robin this season. And it reminded me of a comedy program that I watched one time where a comedian, I think his name is Ali Sadiq, and he basically said, when I'm broke, my dick don't work. Okay? It's like, if you ask any man who is going through financial issues, sex is not on the forefront of his mind, right? So I think what we're seeing this season with Robin and Juan is that they're back to being comfortable with each other, which is why you see the playfulness, the sexual energy come out. Because, baby, Robin and Juan have been through it on this show in terms of finances and going, down in the doldrums in terms of their relationship and going back and forth, okay? So listen, when you ain't got money or when the money tight or when your friend, steal all your money and you trying to rebuild, hell, they went from the big house to that little townhouse that they were trying to, to work in and combine their family in. Now they're building this new house off of the success of, the Housewives of Potomac show, as well as Juan's new coaching job, as well as her embellished hat thing. So listen, all is well in the damn family finances. So listen, Juan's thing is working, and Robin, got all hot between her legs. So listen, I think it's a lesson for anybody. Get your finances straight. Okay, they say marriages break apart for a couple reasons, but the primary two of them are finances, okay, and trust and communication, okay? So if your finances are out of whack, your bedroom probably gonna be out of whack too. So good for Robin and Juan for getting it back together. Now, Nicki goes into a topic that has sort of plagued Robin and Giselle for about 6 seasons now, but whether or not Robin and Giselle are lovers, okay? Now, I love this section because it was just exceptionally messy. To be completely clear, I don't think of Robin and Giselle as lovers, okay? I just think that it's a very easy read. It's a very easy storyline to go with. It's almost akin to the whole Oprah and Gayle thing, right? Where two women are just very, very close. They share a lot of life experiences. They do a lot of stuff together. They seem to, think along the same lines. And in a perfect lesbian situation, they seem like the perfect match, okay? Like, let's go down the line. Robin gives me very butch. Robin gives me very butch, and Giselle gives me very feminine, okay? So you can see the dominant situation. The thing that gives me a little bit of weird energy, though, is though that Giselle seems like the feminine one, she seems like the bossier one of the two, which is weird because Robin is the one that gives off that sort of like butch energy or whatever, but that's neither here nor there. I thought it was very funny. I thought they were good sports about it. I do not believe that they are lesbians together. I just, like I said, the green-eyed bandits thing, them being so close, having, similar life experiences, always doing the same things together. It's the storyline pretty much writes itself. So I thought that they did a really good job of just talking about it, leaning into it, and making light of a stupid situation. Because don't nobody believe that you eating her box or vice versa. Now, on to Juan and Michael's friendship. Now, this was a weird one where I thought that it was a bit of a stretch for Nicki, because what she was basically saying was, because Michael has said that he would suck Juan's dick, Ashley should feel a certain way about Juan and Michael still being friends, okay? And this is what I have to say in response to it, okay? If Juan ain't got no damn problem with the situation, why does anybody else, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand the optics of the situation. And a heterosexual man, lingo, relationships, XYZ, this is pretty much unheard of in terms of one man saying he would suck the other man's dick and the other one just, playing it off or whatever. To me, it honestly shows that Juan's very secure in his masculinity, which is really good. There's no sort of toxic masculinity situation going on. And Michael, I've always felt Michael was very suspect in a sense, okay? But I chalk most of Michael's weirdness up to him being Australian and a little bit kooky, okay? From the first few seasons with him, hitting people on the butt and stuff like that, it just seems like something that they do in their culture down there. And, shout outs to Australians. Drop down in the comments, baby, and let me know if that's something that y'all do. Y'all get drunk and then, act very, suspect and whatnot. It is what it is. When people get drunk, a whole bunch of different behavior comes out. So, like I said, I think the fact that Juan and Michael having a true friendship beside all the BS is more of a testament to their maturity and their comfortableness in their own masculinity, right? And y'all could take that how it was. I took the higher route, okay? Please note that in my file, Jesus. I took the higher route because I could have gone gutter and I didn't. Pats on the back for me. Thank you. Let me try not to get y'all no damn nip slips today. Okay, moving on to Jamal and Giselle's second chance timing. This was an interesting one because it's something you could have inferred through the TV, but it was nice for Giselle to put words to it, right? So Nicki pretty much asked, why did you decide to give Jamal a second chance when the show was popping, when you had X number of years to do it beforehand? And Giselle gave a very, very reasonable answer that I believed. And she said, listen, the dynamics of our situation was off from the beginning, right? You have the pastor that's, once he got successful, once you helped him build the business and whatever, he got successful and he had the money and she reaped the benefits as the first lady and as his wife or whatever, right? And so when the dynamics are shifted from the beginning, there's a sort of power struggle, and it's not really a struggle because one person always seems to have more power than the other, right? And so what Giselle is saying is that because of this show, because of the businesses she's been able to open, because of it, because of the position it's put her in, it leveled the playing field, right? Just in terms of fame, success, notoriety, and allowed her to be in a place where she felt that she was more of his equal, and she could possibly approach a second chance with Jamal in a better way the second time around, right? So listen, shout outs to Giselle for trying. I understand why she did it now in terms of saying, well, maybe now that since we're on equal footing, we'll have a chance. It did not go your way. In my humble opinion, a leopard never changes his spot. So if he liked, every, Sue, Mary, and Jezebel down to damn congregation before, he doesn't change his spots a couple years later. He probably just gets slicker with his stuff. But, y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about that. Now down to the $100 million question where Nicki asked Ashley, Karen, and Mia, because they married older men or whatever, if they had $100 million in the bank, would they have still gotten with their husbands? So Ashley says no, Karen says yes, and Mia says yes. Now to me, Karen and Mia, y'all full of shit, okay? Because Ashley didn't specifically say no, but she said no through the context of what she was saying, right? So Ashley gave the most realistic response to me. Ashley said, if I had $100 million in the bank, I wouldn't have been in the same scenario that I would have been to meet Michael, right? I wouldn't have been bartending. I wouldn't have met him there. And that's a true sentiment. If you have $100 million in the bank, if you're Ashley, you're not going to be bartending. If you're Karen, you're not going to be, out here looking for somebody because you already have somebody to, you have yourself to provide for your damn self. And then for Mia, you're not going to be on the stripper pole with the steak and lobster because you got $100 million in the bank. So to me, Ashley gave the most realistic response. If the three of y'all had $100 million, I don't think that y'all would be with your husbands. The only one that would give me a little bit of pause is actually Karen, because if Karen had $100 million and Ray was already successful, they were probably already going to be on equal footing to a certain extent. And so that situation could have probably worked out of the three of them. So very interesting questions. And I think some of them said yes just to keep their marriages together. So y'all read into that what you will. Now, Wendy, Eddie, and the booty models. This was a segment that did not look well for Miss Wendy, okay? Wendy, there is a saying, right? And I think it's from Shakespeare or something, and y'all drop down in the comments and let me know if I'm saying it right. But it's the lady doth protest too much, okay? And it loosely means that whenever someone goes above and beyond in their reactions to something, whether it's, exceedingly, you're laughing crazily or you're super, super mad, that sometimes what that means is that you're trying to cover up your actual emotions by going to some sort of emotional high or emotional low. So when Nicki started talking about Eddie and the booty models, and she started, showing every single tooth in her head, touching Karen and laughing off her head, so funny, oh my God. Like, girl, you doth protest too much, okay? And I think the receipts were there on the screen where they showed that, before the whole scandal broke, Eddie was following like 648 people. After the damn scandal broke, it was down to like 466. So one can infer that based on how Wendy portrays herself on the screen and how she's set up as a woman, she got into his ass over, these booty models and the optics surrounding it, and that damn follow count went down, okay? And her trying to go above and beyond and saying, I wouldn't be jealous if he was following these booty models. He could follow whoever he wants to. I don't believe it for a second. And I felt that if you had kept your demeanor calm, right, and answered the question in a calm manner, it probably would have looked better than you going, straight to the extreme and making it look like you're trying to overcompensate for a situation. So good luck there. But I do feel like sometimes with Wendy, her husband and this surgery situation, that she's not leaning into the central issue of it. And I think she would help a lot of people if she said that, you know, yes, I got my mommy makeover for me, but for some aspect of it, I did get it because, you know, I wanted to be more appealing for myself first, but also for my husband. Men are very visual, right? So I don't think it's out of the stretch of the imagination that part of her getting her surgery done was in probably a small part for Eddie as well to benefit. So that's all I got to say. Y'all let me know about that. Now, Nicki gets into Candiace and Dorothy and the fact that Candiace does not check her no matter what she says. It's a very difficult situation when you're talking about somebody checking their mom, okay? You only get one mama, okay? You can get another husband. Now, don't say that to be shady. I'm just saying, especially with that sentiment, and also if you throw in the whole hierarchical, you know, black family, you don't come from mama, mama can say whatever she wants and stuff like that, it gets very, very dicey, right? So far be it from me to tell Candiace how to deal with her mama and stuff, but I just thought it was ridiculous when Candiace was saying that Nicki Minaj down to the reunion talking about Dorothy and her relationship with Chris is going to make a big difference in how Dorothy approaches him going forward. Maybe she was saying like all the attention Nicki is bringing to it will, you know, create the conversation, but at the end of the day, there has to be some way, Candiace, for you to respectfully check your mother and create some sort of situation where this is my husband, he's not going anywhere. If you want to be in our lives, you're going to have some modicum of respect for him, or else we're not going to be in contact as much as we have been before. And I think that's where it begins and that's where it ends. Like, as you become an adult, your relationship with your parents changes. There should always be some level of respect there, but at a certain point in time, you are both adults, and it sort of goes down to, you know, it has to come down to some level of respect. You have to respect me as a woman, you have to respect me as a wife, and you have to just respect me in general to sort of abide by this rule that I have with me and my husband. So I wish them luck with that. I don't think it's a situation that can be solved overnight, but I do believe that Candiace can do more because she keeps saying that she's in the middle when she's actually in the driver's seat of this situation, right? Because she controls both relationships. So good luck to Candiace with that. Now, to the most exciting part of the reunion for me was Candiace and Nicki talking album and streaming sales. Now, I did think it was a little bit shady the way Nicki went about it, right? She sort of did everything but call Candiace's record sales a flop, right? If you saw it, it was almost like she circled around every single point she could, right? And when she got to the point of, is it a flop or is it not, she changed the subject, okay? Now, Candiace, that was a gift. In any stretch of imagination, that was a gift that she did not call your album a flop on national television. However, when she started talking about the album sales and stuff, I did some research for y'all, right? So Candiace says that her album in its first week sold 20,213 units, right? Now that seems like it's a lot, right? But I said, let me grab some headlines, some album sales from some notable people, right? To compare and contrast it against, right? So Adele, for instance, with her new album 30, she sold 660,000 copies in her first week. Now, Candiace and Adele are two different artists in two different genres and two different stratospheres. I get that, right? But I'm just trying to give you guys a baseline in terms of what normal album sales could be or are, right? So Adele is an extreme example of someone that's, you know, extremely poppin', been in the game for years, XYZ. 660,000 copies in her first week. So in the grand scheme of things, Candiace sold 3% of Adele's total, right? Now, if we're trying to be more realistic, and I said, well, who are some people that would sort of complement Candiace's album sales, or sort of like in the same vein in terms of what she does, the R&B, light pop, XYZ. So I decided to bring up Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu, with her first album in her debut week, she sold 159,000 copies, right? If we want to talk about someone that's a little bit closer to Candiace in age, we could talk about Summer Walker, even though there's still probably like a 10, 12 year age difference between the two of them. But Summer Walker with her debut album sold 134,000 in the first week. So look, if we think about it that way, Candiace may have only sold 3% of Adele's total, but she sold about 12 to 15% of an Erykah Badu and of a Summer Walker. So not stellar, but not horrible. I think that if you think about her album Deep Space and the sales of it holistically in terms of commercial success, it's not there, right? But if you think about it in terms of someone who was not known for music prior to putting out an album, is a new artist in all stretches of the imagination, and is just a new entrant to the music industry in general, I think that selling 20,213 copies in a week isn't bad, right? And it's showing that there's some modicum of an audience there, and there's room for improvement. Because listen, if you're selling 12 to 15% of an Erykah Badu, 12 to 15% of a Summer Walker, then maybe the next album you sell 25 to 35% of them, right? Maybe the third album you get up to 50%. I think you have to figure out what your definition of success is, right? Because if Candiace is just basing success off of, this was a childhood dream, I've always wanted to sing, now I'm singing, I'm on Kelly Clarkson's show, I'm doing promotion for it, I'm on this platform, I'm promoting my album, you know, it's doing well on the R&B chart, it's, you know, doing moderately well on the Billboard chart. That's a gift in and of itself, right? To realize a childhood dream. So for her, it's probably a success in that respect. For her record label, probably not so much, but it's showing that she does have the potential, right? So I believe in Candiace as an artist. I think that she's dope. I think that she's finding her lane. And I think that as she continues to hone her craft and her voice and her imagery, I think she's just going to get better and better. And look, most artists, not even going to say most, some debut artists, they have a problem, right? Where it's called the sophomore jinx, right? Where they sell so well with the first album that the second album could potentially be a letdown if it doesn't do as well as the first album, right? So girl, as far as I see, you got the opposite problem, right? If your first album didn't sell that well, then your second album, you have nowhere to go but up, right? So shout outs to Candiace, and I hope she does well. And I did think it was a little bit shady the way Nicki was phrasing it, but I'm glad she didn't call it a flop on national TV. Now, moving forward, Nicki talks to Candiace about her auto-tune history with her songs and asks her to sing Drive Back, her song Lab. Now, I see both sides of this situation, okay? On the Nicki side, if you're an artist, they always say, what's that quote by Jada Pinkett Smith? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? Nicki has been put in so many situations where she's been asked to do a freestyle rap, right off the cuff of it and just go into it, and she does it, and she's done it for years, right? So as an artist, I don't think it's out of the question for someone to ask you to do your craft on the spot, right? Especially with a platform as big as this. And also, when 5 seconds earlier, Nicki had asked, you know, what is it, if I have a record label, what is it about you that would be the draw for people to listen to you? And from her own mouth, she said, first and foremost, my vocal ability, right? So quiet as it's kept, she pretty much set herself up for what happened next. Now, on the Candiace side, I get it, right? As an artist, you always want to put your best foot forward, and you're only as good as your last record, as your last singing event, as your last, public presentation, right? So for Candiace, I think her hemming and hawing about what she was going to sing, and if she was going to sing a gospel song or her song or this, that, and the third, it was because she knew that this situation had a 50-50 chance for success, right? If she sang the song and her voice cracked or she sounded bad or whatever, this clip would be played millions and millions of times back and forth, and people would be clowning her and XYZ, okay? If she sang it well, then she would have gotten kudos, people would have been happy, and it would have fed into her knowledge of Candiace as the artist. You know, she has a voice, she has potential, XYZ. So I think with her going back and forth and trying to judge the costs and benefits of what she was doing, it was just trying to decide if she was willing to take that chance. And listen, was she shaky a little bit in the beginning? Yes, which is why I think she told everybody, like, give me a snap. give me a snap, like lead me in. I thought she did a very, very good job in a very high pressure situation, right? She got a clap from everybody, you know, she got an ovation from everybody. The crew was back there clapping for her. So I thought that she did really good to be put on the spot in front of a Nicki Minaj as well as a national platform, right? So good for Candiace. Candiace does have a voice. Candiace does has potential. Whether she'll make it as a bona fide artist and, you know, sell more albums and be like a worldwide sensation, that's yet to see. But like I said, success is different to different people. So it just depends on how she bases that. But good job for singing, because if she didn't sing, I think that it would have been worse than if she sang and hit a bum note. And that's just my opinion. Now on to Chris, because, you know, he's never too far away when Candiace is singing. Chris gets big mad at Nicki's questioning of Candiace's sales and vocals. Chris loves his wife so much that he's willing to get messed up at any point in time over her, right? A fight with Nicki Minaj and the Barbs is not what you want, Chris, okay? You think that you having problems being this, you know, chef and playing second fiddle to Candiace's career now? Baby, when these damn Barbs come for you and annihilate your life, you're going to really find out what hurts, okay? So I understand him trying to, you know, stick up for his wife. Listen, I even said before I didn't like her questioning of the album sales, because it was like she was calling it a flop by not saying it, but, you know, interpretation is pretty much in the situation. But I understand Chris being big mad. I don't understand with why he felt the need to vocalize it in that moment, right? And maybe he'll learn from being on this show that sometimes it's better to keep things towards yourself and talk about it off camera later on instead of having it being on camera. And I did like how some of the women came to his side to pretty much calm him down, as well as Andy coming and saying she did amazing, okay? She did amazing. Everybody clapped. She did wonderful. She sounded amazing. Everything was great in the grand scheme of things. You can calm down, okay? And I think it's probably a recurring problem with Chris, right? Perception is 9/10 reality. So he didn't like how his wife was being perceived in his eyes. Everyone else saw something different. So you can't be mad for him coming to the defense of his wife, but I think it was right energy, wrong time. So that's all I got to say about that. But I think that's everything that I have to say on this. I'm going through my list, y'all. I think that's it. So if you liked what I said, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all social media at DatDamnDasher. And until next time, y'all, bring on more drama for season 7 or cut these damn reunions down to 2 parts. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.